everyone, this is Nikki Burnette, and I wanted to show you one of the ways that I color the backgrounds on my Grayscale coloring pages. I'm going to be using an image out of my Spellbinding Images Grayscale coloring book, the Beginner's Edition, and this is available on Amazon if you wanted to color along with me. I'll put the link below. I'm going to be working on a mermaid. Her name is Vienna, and I've already colored most of the image. I colored the majority of the mermaid and these heart areas and the water and the rock. They're all with colored pencils. And then I just had the background left, and you can definitely color it with colored pencils. I actually made another video where I show many different methods that you can use to color a background and why I prefer the method that I'm showing you here. So I'll put the link for that video below as well if you wanted to see different methods that you can use. But for this video, I'm going to show you how to use something called Pebbles Chalk on the background. And a lot of my images have this sort of textured, mottled kind of a background to them. And when I made the book, I tried a lot of different products to see what worked best over this type of a background. And what I'm going to show you is my favorite, my personal favorite. But again, that I did make that other video so you can see all the different effects of many different types of media that you can use on the background. So if you wanted to give that a look, you can. So let's see, I've finished most of the background here, and I just want to finish this little area with you so you can see what it looks like as I'm doing it. And let me show you what I'm going to use. This is Pebbles Chalk, and it is in this nice little tin. Everything's self-contained, which I really love. You just open the lid and you have 30 different colors. They're separated into color family, and you have 2 shades of each color. And then underneath you have different what they call poof applicators, and you get this clamp tool. And underneath each color family, there's a small, a medium, and a large poof. So you just choose whichever size you want to use based on the area that you're covering. If you're doing a lot of detail work, choose the small poof. If you're covering large areas, choose the large poof. And again, this is the pearlescent set, so the chalks do have a slight shimmer to them. And I'd say they're most similar to chalk pastels, though I find their consistency to be a little creamier. They're not as dusty as chalk pastels, which I really enjoy. I like that they're not quite as messy. So we're going to be using the pink and the brown color on the mermaid. So let's see, as you can see, I've sort of worked my way around with the pink and the brown, blending them into each other, and now I just have this little area left. So let's see if I can sort of line that up so you can see. So I'm going to start with the big poof just to cover a lot of area so I can show you. And sometimes you'll get other colors on your poof, so you can rub that off on cardstock to sort of get the excess off, but right now I'm just going to use the cleaner side. So I just put it in my poof. I'm going to choose this darker pink color just because it's brighter. So you just rub it on the poof, and there it is. And then we'll just apply it to the background, and I just sort of work in small little circular motions, and right now I'm just trying to cover a big wide area, so kind of stop as you're getting close to her tail there so that you don't get it on her tail. Actually, let me move the camera down so you can see a little bit more as I'm working here. There, that might be a better angle. So you can see that the pigment is very, it's nice and rich in color, but it also has a nice transparency to it so that the the texture of the grayscale image shows through. So again, I'm just trying to cover the biggest areas here. Don't get too worried about getting close to the other elements just yet. We'll come back and get a little closer to those areas in just a second with the smaller poof. So as you can see on this side, I'm trying to fade from pink to brown. So you do want to come over quite a bit with the pink because you're going to layer the brown on top just to sort of mix the colors together. I'd say that's about good where we have it right now. You can go back over again if you want to build up some more color, but I quite like where it's at right now. And as you can see, there's not a lot of dust at all. I find it to be quite neat. Unlike other chalk pastels that just leave a pile of dust when you're done. And it just has I hope you can see that in the camera. It's a very nice subtle shimmer. It's not overly glittery. So now we're just going to take the small poof on our applicator tool, and you gotta sort of pull it out a little bit there so you can apply the color to it. So we'll take that dark pink color again, and now we'll just start getting a little closer to her tail there. And try to work as closely as you can without getting it on her tail. And really, I don't find that you have to be super fussy with it. If you get a little bit on her tail, I find that it's quite easy to brush off. So, you know, don't be too worried about it. The color really doesn't show up that much if you accidentally get some on her tail. You'll just see maybe like a little bit of a glitter, but it doesn't really bother me that much. I just sort of take my finger and sort of go like that and get off the excess. You can also, if you find that the small poof is too big still, you can definitely use a brush. Just make sure it's dry, and you can apply the chalk with the brush. Just rub it over the chalk like that and get some on your brush. And then you have a little bit more control with that if you're working on smaller areas. So that's another option. And if you do have excess on her tail areas or other areas, pick another brush that doesn't have anything on it. That's like a clean, dry brush, and you can actually brush away the excess that gets on her tail. You can use a clean and dry brush to do that, or a Q-tip, and just sort of work your way around the tail and just sort of brush off any excess that gets on there. So I'm just going to keep working here with the small poof and filling in closer to her tail. So I want to show you how to layer the brown color on next. There we go. I find this very fun to use chalks over grayscale. Just they're such a easy to blend, transparent medium, and I've actually seen people create entire grayscale colorings with nothing but these Pebbles Chalk or chalk pastels, and they're really beautiful. And I can see why they do it, because it's really fun. So I'd say that's good. Coloring over grayscale is very forgiving. So I don't feel like you have to be quite as precise when getting close to the figure. So I think that looks good. So we're going to move on to the brown color now. So I'll just pick up the poof for the brown color. There we go. And I'm going to use the darker of the two browns. And I'm just going to layer right over that pink color. And you can see it just sort of blends together magically. It's very pretty, a pretty effect. And you'll find that you'll be able to do these backgrounds a lot quicker than if you use colored pencils or markers, and the effect is still very nice with these. So the nice thing, one of the reasons why I added the black border to my coloring pages is you can sort of color right over it and it still makes a nice clean edge. You don't have to worry about getting too precise at the very edge there. And there you can see I went over it a little bit, but you can just brush it off with your finger just like that. So it's pretty easy to clean up. So just gonna finish up here, and again just kind of go up to the tail without really touching it. You just want to cover as much area as you can with the big poof and then go in with the smaller poof. So we'll drop the big poof. I guess I was coloring off camera there. Let me push it up so you can see what I'm doing. Grab the small poof, and again with the dark brown color, and you can just come in closer to the mermaid tail and the water down here. There we go. And you can always blend with your finger too if you find some areas that you want to blend a little bit more. So there's that. And then I wanted to darken the brown just a little bit. I don't know if you can see it that well on the video, but this side's a lot lighter than this side. And so what I did was I came back. They have multiple sets of these Pebbles Chalks, and I go over them more in another video. I'll put that link below about all the different sets that they have. But I decided to come back in. This is their classic chalk set, and these are similar colors, but they don't have the shimmer, and I find that they're just maybe a tad darker than the pearlescent. So what I did was I came in with this dark brown color right at the very edge, just to make it a little bit darker and add some more depth to that edge there. So I'll just take my big poof and just color right along the very edge. And then I'll just darken that up. There. I think that looks pretty nice there. It's nice to finish this mermaid. I've been working on her for a while, and now she's done. So I'm just going to clean up this edge a little bit with a Q-tip. I'll just take a clean, dry Q-tip and just sort of run it up that black edge there, and you can see I got some off with it. And you can clean up any area that you find got a little bit too much on there, but I don't really see anything else. So there it is. She's all done. So again, that was colored pencil on the mermaid and then the Pebbles Chalk on the background. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll put all the product links below in case you were wanting to try some of them yourself. And if you have any ideas for a tutorial that you would like me to show you, please don't hesitate to let me know down in the comments below. I love showing you how I color over Grayscale, so if you have any ideas, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching.